I just killed some nerve endings in my butt. So I have a patch of my butt that's just numb permanently.
Hi everyone, this is Three Schooners Deep Alex. Welcome to the Real Gamerscore podcast. This week I am joined by Double Shot Trouble Matt.
Howdy.
And Kirby.
Hi.
Here at Real Gamerscore we like to discuss all things Xbox, achievements, and where your nearest WoW Addicts Anonymous meeting is held. This week we talk about the spread of Game Pass, Neo's great singing voice, and is your Kinect listening to you? Yes it is, but don't worry about that because first here's the song of the week.
Looking over my achievements, looking at all my games, I see that percentage looming over me again. I don't want to play Neverwinter no more, wasting my days grinding a game that's a bore. So first thing you know, I'll be back to quick points again.
So you don't want to play Neverwinter?
I never want to play Neverwinter, but you know, there's
I
a
don't
whole
think anyone
there's a
has
whole
wanted to
story
play.
behind that.
Yeah,
Wow.
no, even if we were guessing Alex, I'd be...
Yeah, I'd probably need to do it again. Actually, I need to.
Nah. It's alright. You can do it again and I'll cut in the good version.
Thanks.
You
Yeah,
send
no,
me
I
one.
need to.
Anyway, we did have last week's song, which we can now announce was Fame by David Bowie. Which is
Yes.
good. It was good.
It's
yeah.
very good.
It was very good. We also have a winner from the last 2 weeks, cumulative, of answers.
Oh, Chen, the one before that was Horse with No Name by America as well.
Did we not say it last week?
We didn't.
We should have
because
said
it
it
was part of
last
the
week.
competition.
Oh, well. No, it's fine. After the week's passed, they're done. Too bad. You can't enter that one.
No, let people enter if they're late.
No. You've got a week to listen. You listen that first week. If you don't listen that first week and get your entry in for that one, that's too late. You've got until the podcast comes out. Once it's out, I stop caring.
Chen
Actually,
rules
you've
the
got
Iron Fist.
technically till we record, because if you enter between now and it releasing, you won't have been involved when we recorded. So, sorry. Anyway, we did have a winner for the last fortnight's worth of songs, and the winner was random.org and had all the PMs up there, and you can't see the names once you've got them all open. Random.org. Hit generate a couple times, got my girlfriend to tell me when to stop clicking the button, waited the 5 minutes for it to actually stop, because I clicked it too many times, and it landed on 3. And 3 was Clowntastic. So
Hey, congratulations.
he can, which is good, because that means it's going to be a $10 Australian gift card, which is cheaper than a $10 US one. That's good for my wallet.
Yeah, so Australians need to make sure you get in that competition.
Yeah. In fact,
For New Zealanders, it's worth less than Australian dollars.
It's harder for me
but
to get a $10 New Zealand gift code, so I have to get like a $15 one, which then probably still doesn't cost me as much as a $10 Australian, but it's still a hassle.
Yeah, but then there's the chance that I'd probably just keep winning it.
You're on the show, yeah. Chances go up 50%. It's like a buff to a real-life video game.
But anyway, yeah, Clown, send me a message in Discord, True Achievements, wherever. Hit me up and I'll hook you up.
Well, speaking of Discord, we should remind everyone that they can join us in Discord by going to discord.io/realgamescore. You can find an invite to join our Discord server in there. So loads of cool people in there chatting about this, that, and the other thing, and it's where all the up to the second kind of updates are posted as well. So hop in there, join us. We'd love to have you in there. You can also find our Patreon page at patreon.com/realgamerscore. We've got the random to-do list giveaway for August, which is, this will be, we should announce it next episode, I suppose. That'll be like, what, the 4th?
Yeah, 4th.
Of
It'll
September?
probably be enough
3rd,
time to
4th.
get all your answers in by then.
Well, don't delay. If you're hearing this episode, get your answer in. So, Chin, what have we got giving away, and what's the question this week?
The game we're giving away is Subdivision
Infinity
DX. I was in my head. I went Subdivision Divinity, and I'm like, that's not a word.
It's not that one.
Subdivision Infinity DX, which then rolls into the question really nicely of another game with the word infinity in the title. Because if you found another game with the word Divfinity, I think you'd just win straight away if you found that title, really.
Maybe you made a video game.
you made the game with just called it Divfinity, and that was it.
Yeah,
anyway,
Xbox Cert is really easy to get through these days. They'll put anything up.
So, another game with the name Infinity in the title, and send that answer to the random to-do list account on True Achievements, not the real Gamerscore account. You know who you are, person who sent the PM twice. You know who you are. I'm not going to call you out publicly, but you sent it 2 times immediately after. So the person had 2 answers, right? The first PM had both of them in this order, and then the second one, minutes later, had them in the opposite order.
Just in case.
Just in case I didn't read it the first time. You know who you are. I'm questioning whether I count it. Just send it to the other one.
Oh dear.
Iron Fist Chin
so
rules
the other requirement is that you need to get at least one achievement unlocked in your random to-do list. So you can ask Kirby at any time, pretty much, apart from the last day of the month, to generate you a random to-do list. So it's a list of 25 locked achievements from your locked achievement pool on True Achievements. That is, of course, governed by your game collection. So you can add games that you haven't started, and you can remove games that you no longer want to play to appear in that pool. So we have got a random to-do list competition kind of happening at the moment. There's, 5 teams now with 6 people in them each, I think?
Yeah, 5 of 6.
Yes. This is my last month, and I think you said your last month as well, Kirby?
I'm unless we can, if we don't get a free agent worth getting, then I'll stay in, and it might just end up being that we have 6 members on the teams, and only the top 5 scores count. Okay. So, just because we don't want to have unbalanced teams where, I'm not really participating, but we couldn't get someone to replace me. So,
my team has got me subbing out for Tominator.
Maybe. You are, well, you're the second last pick. So, it goes in order of performance. So, Jester are coming last, so they get first pick. Then it's Big L's team. Then it's my team. Then it's your team. Then Freem's team. So,
is my team coming second?
Yeah, by a point. Ahead of us.
Okay.
And currently,
I didn't realise you had to go in that order. I thought, alright.
You have 6 appointments.
Okay.
Hello,
no,
Siri.
Don't say my
Siri,
appointments,
you're really
please.
busy.
What did I say? I said assuming.
Maybe they knew one of our news topics was going to be.
Bixby, open up a recipe.
Alright, we'll go straight into the news there, but if you did want to join into the random to-do list, you can get in touch with us and we'll point you in the right direction. So, first news here, Kirby, you brought this one to the table.
I did. It's so good. It's so good. So, WoW Classic is back. It launched, I don't know, a couple of days ago, I think.
Yeah, about 2 or 3 days ago.
Yeah. It's back. It doesn't cost you anything. It just, you have to have a subscription. That's all. Which is $15 US a month. It's awesome. It's great. It's fantastic. The only problem is there's too many people playing it.
Really? This insanely popular video game they're doing a
that
nostalgia
everyone's been asking for.
That everyone was interested in? Yeah. And apparently it's too popular, is what you're saying?
Yeah, so there's been screenshots that people have taken where queue times have been upwards of 15 hours to get into servers, and
yikes.
And then when you get into there, and because everyone's sort of starting relatively recently, everyone has a level 1 character. So the starter zones are flooded with player characters, and trying to tag an enemy so that you get the drops is damn near impossible. The good news about it, though, is it's that it peaked at 1.1 million viewers on Twitch. Twitch does aggregate normal WoW, real WoW, current WoW with classic WoW, so it's ever so slightly smaller than that actual number, given that I think last month the peak was like 50,000. So jumping from 50,000 to 1.1.
Any streamer who's smart enough will be streaming classic to get the viewership anyway.
Yeah. It's still, even recently, had about 600 concurrent viewers, beating out League of Legends at 109,000 and Fortnite at 103. It's doing so well that Blizzard stock rose, I think, 6%, which is an astronomical amount in stocks. Like,
wow. That's
crazy. Yeah, that's a big return. So people are clearly paying attention to it.
If I recall correctly, they didn't even really want to release this.
No, this was
super keen on it.
Yeah, I remember there was a pirate server that a bunch of like pirated servers that people had created, and there was a whole like subset of the community trying to recreate the classic WoW in a sort of, invite only sort of bootleg version that eventually got shut down by Blizzard. But then apparently they talked to the people, and this might have been what turned into classic. But they're very standoffish.
The server was Nostarius. That was I mean, there were multiple emulated servers, but that was the big one. And I think I want to say like 300, 400,000, probably more. Oh, yeah, way more. Just under 1 million people were playing in this. 800,000 accounts created over a year. And had a general active player base of 150,000.
In all fairness, that's a pretty good proof of concept if I've ever seen one.
Yep. It then even still required a 200,000 signatured petition to even get presented to Blizzard, and then they announced it the next year. I think that was 2013? No. Yeah, like 2013, I think. Or...
It makes me laugh, because I'm thinking, if they're reluctant to release this, whoops, we just increased our stock price a whole lot. Oh, I don't really want to do that.
Yeah, well,
whoopsie.
They always wanted to not look in the past. Everything was about, for Blizzard have always been,
that's why.
You need to, we want you in this because it's, we don't want you sitting on this old server and not seeing everything that we are creating now and just being happy with what we created. We're putting a lot of work into these things. We want you to see them.
The problem is that Blizzard have basically written themselves into a corner. They've done time travel, they've done pandas, they've done everything.
Yeah, it's... I stopped playing... Originally, I stopped playing a little bit before Cataclysm, which was the 4th expansion. I think I came back near the end of the life cycle of Mists of Pandaria, which was the 5th expansion, and left before Warlords of Draenor came out, which was the next one after that. But I've spent a lot of time in WoW. I am going to try really hard not to get back into WoW Classic, otherwise I won't play any Xbox ever again. I have a friend who works at Blizzard who's on TA staff as well. I was talking to them about it. They're like, yeah, WoW Classic's launched, so my workload's increased a fair bit. I'm like, I wouldn't play it because of these reasons. Well, if you ever want to, just get back into it, I have about 7 years accrued of game time you can just use. I'm like, I hate you. Go die. I hate you. I'm going to stab you. I'm going to travel across the world and stab you and stab you and stab you. Why would you say that to me?
Next episode's just going to have Chin chained to a radiator shouting into his microphone.
Yeah. Let me back on the computer. I need to hunt pigs. Boars. I was thinking boars, and I said pigs. I'm just going to say it again and cut all that nonsense out. I need to hunt Boars. I almost said pigs again. It's just in my head.
You're not even going to cut that out because it won't
I'm
make
not,
sense.
because I'll forget about it and I haven't written it down. But no, good on them. Good on everyone who's enjoying it. Sorry about the gigantic wait times. But they launched it in patch 1.12, which is Drums of War. So that has 3 big raids, I think. Yeah, they're doing 5 rollouts essentially. This one has Molten Core, Onyxia, and Maraudon. They'll have Diamol, Azurgos, Kazakh, Blackwing Lair, Darkmoon Fair is going to be in there. Some of the newer, like Alterac Valley doesn't have the PvP in it, I think. Warsong Gulch isn't in there. Yeah, so they are going to update it still, but I think after a certain point it's just going to stop and it'll just be what it'll be.
If I had to guess, I would say they might update it all the way up to just before Cataclysm and then leave it there.
At least it documented as Phase 6, which is Naxxramas, Scourge Invasion, and World PvP objectives in Silithus and Eastern Plaguelands.
Well, as long as Badlands chat stays as awful as it used to be, then I'll feel right at home.
Oh, as long as I can, hit a Chuck Norris joke in no, my brain is not. That's not Badlands, because Badlands is further south. The Barrens chat.
Barrens chat, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
You can
I have no idea what you guys are talking about.
I know. We're hitting a really small subset that doesn't listen to our podcast.
Yeah.
We're targeting a very small demographic that has never listened to our podcast, will never listen, but they're also, for everyone, all -5 of you, you can still do the opening of the Gates of Anchorage. So that'd be nice.
Okay, well that's worth
cool.
actually doing, to be fair.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I like this article. It ended with, do you know where Manrik's wife is? No, stop asking that. Oh, that's funny. Alex, laugh.
I had no idea.
Just
I
laugh.
read that and I'm just like, what?
Just laugh.
Nah.
One of us, Alex, just laugh. It's funny. Just laugh.
It's fine.
No.
Chen, you can edit a laugh in from one of the previous episodes, I'm sure.
I have no idea what you're talking about. Alright, let's move on, because you guys have been talking about WoW for like 10 minutes. I'm very excited about it. So, Chin, stay away, right?
Yeah.
Do you need to,
tough.
go on a WoW ban?
I have so many fond memories, of playing WoW for 10 days straight.
Some people die when they do that, you know?
Yeah, I didn't. I just lost some...
The lucky ones.
I just killed some nerve endings in my butt. So, I have a patch of my butt that's just numb permanently.
And that's the clip for this episode.
Yeah. I have a patch in my butt that's permanently numb. Whoops. Alright, well, we'll go on to a couple of the other news articles we got. So, there was an interview during the week. Microsoft want Games Pass on all platforms. So, it's really just not really a news article, but something that was mentioned. So, in an interview at Gamescom, Ben Decker, I'm not sure who Ben Decker actually is, but must be someone that works for Microsoft, says, we would like to see Games Pass on all platforms ultimately, and I think that's a long-term goal. We don't have any specific plans today, but we would really love to see Game Pass go everywhere. So, I guess the only reason I added this one in to talk about was we've talked in the past about how the Games Pass coming to Nintendo Switch would be, really, really cool, I think. And I would buy a Switch if that were the case. I guess it's something that they're thinking about doing. It's just a matter of putting things into place, I suppose. Do you guys think it would be technologically possible? Not whether it's actually possible or not. It's technologically possible to have the Games Pass run on, say, a Switch. I mean, it's never going to happen on PlayStation. Let's not even theorise about that. But do you think it's possible?
Well, Switch has... I'm fairly certain with their online subscription, they do like a a monthly rental of 2 classic Nintendo games or something. I'm not.
They have some sort of streaming library with old Nintendo games. I think just NES and SNES games. I think.
Yeah, so like, I think the first 2 games was like Balloon Boy or something.
Balloon Fighter.
Like it was games that people were like, why were these your choice to give? And it wasn't like games with gold where if you have the subscription you keep them. It was no, it's here for 2 months or 1 month or whatever, and then we're going to rotate something else in. So that's essentially Game Pass, but on a much smaller scale. So I think the framework is there. So I mean, same with PlayStation. PlayStation do their free games with their thing.
And they have PlayStation Now for their streaming service, which is a little bit different. And I believe they do allow downloads of some of their games.
Yep, everything. I think PlayStation 2 and 4 games do. I think you can
3
only
is streaming because of the architecture.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's no technical reason, I mean, other than there's obviously some stuff, but I'm sure technically they could get it up and running. Politically, I mean, I don't see it ever happening, realistically.
What about even with Nintendo? I mean, we're talking about Nintendo. There's some sort of relationship happening there. They've taken Minecraft, they've now taken Ori.
I mean, theoretically, you can just, in the future, get the xCloud app on your Switch.
That's kind of what I was thinking too.
Yeah, do it that way. Again, not exactly the same, but I think that's where Microsoft is leaning more right now.
Yeah, so not something that plugs straight into the UI, but a separate application itself, in the same way that Netflix has. Well, actually, that's a bad example because the Switch doesn't have Netflix. But
in the same way, the Switch has like settings. Has a settings
app? Yeah, setting app. Yep, that's the other app that they have on there, right? They have games and settings, and that's pretty much it.
Definitely no friends or like chat or anything.
No, absolutely
They'd still have to allow the xCloud app to be downloaded. Unless you were very technical and could crack them and get it on there. I don't know how it works, but either way, Nintendo would still need to allow it.
I think that's an easier sell than Game. I don't know. Again, maybe Nintendo gets a cut for it being on the Switch and any purchases coming through the Switch or whatever. I don't know. I don't know how that works monetarily, but I think it's an easier sell to just say, here's an app. It's not gonna affect, like, because if you have Game Pass on there, you have to have those games in the store, and then that goes through Nintendo having to go, okay, we have to check all these games to make sure. I mean, they've been a bit more lax with the Switch's titles, but they then still have to check all those games and make sure they approve of them being on their store. So that's why I think xCloud is slightly more feasible.
And then we get back to the point that I think I brought up a couple weeks ago, was that there are a lot of games that are the same, or cross-platform games that are on Game Pass, for example. So what happens if if you own the Game Pass version? Does that mean you get the Switch version, or if you own the Switch version, does that mean you can play it on Game Pass, or are they completely separate? You know, there's the risk of double handling on the same console. Which I'm sure they wouldn't mind spending, getting a few extra bucks in, but I'm sure people will be a little annoyed by it at least.
Yeah, I don't think the market is at a place yet where they're prepared to allow cross buys as the norm.
Yeah,
I think it's like, if you want to play it on Switch, you pay. You want to play it on Xbox, you pay again. PlayStation, you pay for a third time. I think, as much as I would like to be able to buy something somewhere, I don't see it happening as the norm. Not in this console generation, not even probably in the next console generation, maybe. But I was just thinking, as you were saying with the xCloud app, I wonder if they would work out a payment system like how, Spotify. You get paid 0.00012 cents per play or something. If they did that like per hour or something like that, then essentially Nintendo makes money for having the xCloud app run on their device.
So
that'd be a way of them getting paid for it. I don't know how it would work.
If I listen to our podcast enough on Spotify, do we eventually get paid?
No.
I mean, that's why
I
I
don't know
listen
how
to
to
the
set that
podcast.
stuff up.
Never mind then. The other thing is then, because Microsoft have also stated that the studios that have come in and become Xbox game studios now, so all your Playground, NXile, Ninja Theory, all that, future titles that they're releasing that aren't already contractually obligated to release on multi-platform will not be releasing on multi-platform. So then those games get struck from Game Pass and you get Nintendo specific or PlayStation exclusive titles instead.
Well,
I don't know how that would work.
I wonder if they go the xCloud route, maybe that's a sort of a technical way around that. Because technically they're putting them on the app for streaming. You're still streaming through their software. You just happen to be using a different device.
Yeah, and they also said that that's how they plan to make those IPs available to other devices through xCloud. So, yeah, the closest chance I'm going to have of playing it on my phone, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And you'd argue that those are almost some of the better / best titles on there will be those exclusives once they kick off in 2 or 3 years' time.
We hope.
Hopefully.
Yeah. Well, before we move on to the next article, I think, Chin, I've asked you this in the past, but Neo, maybe not you. Would you buy a Switch if Game Pass was available on the Nintendo Switch?
Yep. Probably. I mean, I don't use portable gaming a lot, but it's always good to have there when you do. I mean, something I struggle with, because I've gotten, a collection of consoles over the years, but I struggle to play anything that doesn't have achievements in it anymore. Which, good or bad, I'm sure that's a whole nother topic. But having something where you can work on some progress or something that isn't a Windows Phone game, and it's like, an actual proper game, even if it is, like indie titles or smaller games that you'd use for streaming, yeah. I mean, if it had Game Pass and there was a decent availability of games, then yeah, I think I would.
Because remember, Alex, everybody poops.
I'm pretty sure that's the name of a children's book.
Yeah, it's to make it okay to know that you poop, everybody poops, so it's okay. You don't have to be embarrassed by pooping.
I'm not.
Everybody does it. Well, you know, because you read the book, and you're an adult.
No, I have not read the book.
If you're concerned about being pooping
pooping
pooping as an adult, I think there'd be bigger problems than just you being scared of pooping.
All right, and to end the topic of conversation on pooping, we're going to talk about Microsoft contractors and how they've apparently been listening in on Xbox users.
Well, that's pretty
I'm Poppy.
too.
You're going to have to unpoppy that.
Best part is, yeah, I'm
I'd
going to
poopy
censor
that.
it. And
Write the swearing time down because you said it. Naughty word.
Thanks. Are you writing it down or am I?
You are writing it
Oh,
down.
yeah, useless.
You're editing it, mate.
I know, 37.
Okay. So, Microsoft contractors had previously been listening in on Xbox users. So, that's the title of this article that's been run here on True Achievements. So, according to a recent article by Motherboard, recordings were taken from Xbox owners that use the Kinect's camera voice commands to control their console, and more recently, the Cortana voice assistant. So before we get too deep into it, either of you surprised that people have listened to what has been said to their Kinect? Yes or no?
Not even in the slightest.
No. Yeah.
No, neither. So apparently, I'll just read a little bit of it here. So Motherboard spoke to several contractors that could listen to recordings taken from the Xbox. The audio was only supposed to be captured after the use of a voice command, but contractors said sometimes this wasn't the case, and recordings were triggered by mistake. So one of the quotes here that's directly from the article, and I found this quite funny, and not surprising but funny. It said, the Xbox stuff was actually a bit of a welcome respite, honestly. It was frequently the same games, same DLCs, same types of commands. Xbox, give me all the games for free.
That's great.
Or, Xbox, download the newest Minecraft skins pack, or whatever. Occasionally I heard Xbox, tell Solus to heal, or something similar, which would be a command for Dragon Age Inquisition.
was that didn't work, did it?
Don't know, mate. I didn't play Dragon Age Inquisition, but it's funny that one. Xbox give me all the games for free. Like, could you imagine if that worked?
How good if that worked? Yeah, you're just like,
I'd like to see the response.
Like, oh my god, I've got all the games. Guess I'm just going to go back to Fortnite though, because you can.
Well,
absolutely, that's a 8-year-old kid. No adult. I really hope no adult is going, Xbox, give me all the games.
For free. Don't forget to say for
free. Sorry, for free.
Because if you say Xbox, give me all the games,
they'll be like, sure, buddy, here's your card.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just heard that and I thought it was pretty funny. So I'll paraphrase a lot of the rest of the article, but they've mentioned that even though they were listening to it for the most part to improve the functionality of the voice activation commands, they did hear things either directly before or directly after it. And for me, I don't really think that's any great surprise. I think even if you had written in here that Xbox could, how would you put this? Could, like,
murder your family?
Remotely listen to... No. Xbox... Don't tell that command to your Xbox. If they could remotely listen to your Xbox in live... what would you say? Live scenario. That would be a little bit more shocking, but I mean...
Still not surprising.
Yeah, I wouldn't even be that surprised. That probably happened and they just haven't come out and said that.
Yeah, so... Go, Matt, sorry.
Yes, I was just thinking, it just reminds me of an old Penny Arcade comic when the Kinect first came out, and it's got, I think it's Gabe sitting there going, Xbox, play Netflix, Xbox, play Spotify, and then Xbox, kill. And I think this is, if I remember correctly, this is part of a larger sort of expose that Motherboard did around all sorts of devices that are using voice recognition. So this same thing was discovered with the Alexa, with Google Home, and all those sort of voice-activated voice search sort of things going on. That they basically have the same team of contractors or similar teams that are all listening for these things to help improve the learning and the activation. So the fact that Microsoft is doing this is so not surprising. I would even argue that they should be doing it to an extent. Yeah, absolutely. Because I mean, obviously, you have machine learning to and try and improve these processes, but it's supervised. You have to have points of entry and have people understand how these things work and what's a false positive, what's correct, what isn't. Because if they didn't, you might get to the stage where it's like, Xbox, give me all the games for free, and suddenly Xbox is like, yeah, sure, here's all the games for free.
Yeah, the main...
Turn that one off real quick.
Yeah.
The main issue with this then becomes whether Microsoft, gave clear enough notice that this was happening, because arguably the Xbox is marketed at kids, and a product marketed at kids that then listens on them starts to violate... Americans have a
little bit of a
Federal Trade Commission have a rule set, the Children's Online Privacy Protection Rule, COPPA, and that's sort of where now this is progressing. Is your Alexa probably not really marketed for kids. It's targeted more at adults. Xbox 50-50. They have they're marketed to both. Sure. But the fact that they are marketed to kids then brings, was there enough notice for parents to know that your console, the Kinect, and then Cortana Assistant could, not that they definitely would, but could potentially listen to the kid, and that, etc., blah, blah, blah. Right. So that's where then the issue crops up for Microsoft. So we'll see if it gets any further, but that's potentially where Microsoft could be in a bit of strife. But, again, we're being reasoning adults. This is not a surprise to us. Probably is a surprise to the parent dumping their kid in front of an Xbox and just, you know, as they tell Siri what they want and you know, whatever else.
It didn't wake up that time.
No, I had to pause because I went, whoops.
So I was just thinking before we transition over to the review, something I actually can't find on Google anymore, but I remember reading around the time, well, not around the time, maybe a couple of years after Connect 1.0 came out, but there used to be a blog or a website where it was like Connect ghost stories. So people would post pictures that their Connect had taken, and, you know, it was a blog. Apparently, ghosts loved the Connect. So while you were talking about it there, I tried to find the website. I can't find it.
It's the only thing that could hear them. They were so excited. They're like, Xbox, this is my life story. And hours later, someone's on the other end like, what the
It's pretty funny because I read it and I just thought, yeah, you guys are cooked, eh? But as I searched for it just then, it seems to be a combination of people claiming that they had one experience or like a scary Connect ghost story, like a fiction. So
Yeah.
Anyway,
I'm looking forward to seeing a Connect at the next haunted house that I go to. Ooh,
right.
It's invading your privacy.
It heard you eating dinner.
It's seen you in your underwear. Daily.
Well, who hasn't?
All right.
All right. Well,
Okay,
go
Alex,
over
I don't
to-
know. No. I don't know what you do for a living, buddy. But I don't go to work in my underwear. Because I work at a school and that would be really inappropriate.
Speaking of protecting
I've
kids,
even got a card that says I don't do that.
I've got one of those cards too.
Yeah, I know.
Oh wait, am I the only
Everyone's
person
got
who
one.
doesn't have that card? Am I in trouble?
Well, you don't work in Australia, so you're fine.
Okay, whew.
Got it on my
Jeez.
desk, probably. Yeah, there I am. That's definitely the face of someone who's not going to do... who's innocent of child-related crimes.
You look really good compared to me.
They're just the worst photos,
Anyway.
aren't they, Alex? Like,
I'll
genuinely.
get mine in a
It's
minute.
like
but-
passport photos. No, G-Test Roundup.
Okay, yes.
Okay, yeah.
All right.
You-
Tell me about the G-Task Roundup.
You're setting up for the review, and I'm like, no.
Oh, yeah, I was. Thank you. You got to remind me of the G-Task Roundup, even though it's right there in front of my
Yeah.
face.
It is, we are in period 9. This is the important period. This is the period where if you survive, you should get that community challenge badge.
Woo!
I've already
Yes.
dropped my 2k in bonuses.
Oh, I only got one,
And,
so I dumped my two
yeah.
500-point bonuses.
Yep. I can't use
I'm
my
ranked
0 point.
163rd, I think it was, as of the time of recording.
Oh, very
I
nice.
was like, I think I was in first place as soon as I dropped the bonuses. I'm down to 13th? 14th now.
I need to figure out how to do that. Do I have to click a button or something?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
if you if you go to the leaderboard, you click on your name, and on the right-hand side is a bunch of bonuses with a, like, use bonus button. You click that, it'll say, are you sure you want to? You say yes.
You say, of course I do. I don't want to be in this competition any longer than I have to.
Yeah. But the bonus is for solo side this week. It is quartered, which is for ending the period in the top 25 of active gamers. So that does not include those below the line. So if there's 1,000 people and the last 100 be eliminated, then it's just that top 900 that's 25%. So it wouldn't be the top 250, it'd be the top 225. Math. That's probably not... I turned my phone off, that's right. That's why Siri didn't go off, because I turned it off.
Ah,
Now I can't do math for you.
Yeah. It's alright, 900 times 0.25. That's an 8, that's not times. Yeah, 225. I was right. It's good.
Gotcha.
Anyway, in period 8, the solo cutoff was at 649 true achievement difference. How far above that were you, Alex? Because you certainly... What'd you pop to survive? Minecraft. You used
couple
Minecraft.
of Minecraft
Yeah.
ones, yeah.
I remember now, yeah. So you
I
weren't
didn't
our
get
lowest.
tagged at like 10:30 at night. with all these people. Hey, Professor, you're below the line. Nah, yeah.
Limbo, limbo, limbo.
So our lowest flyer was LA Jester, who had 700.
XLAX.
So who?
Jester.
Sorry, who was that?
Yeah.
701 true achievement difference, but he used a 500 bonus, so he was 52 above cutoff. He was also like working out all week, so he could get much Gamerscore, from what I'm aware. Our high,
I was 300 points above it, by the way, in answer to your question.
Okay, good stuff. Our high flyer was Mad Eye Pad Eye, who was in 77th spot with 2,982 true achievement difference. We did have a solo knockout. That was Enigma Gamer 77. Unfortunately, was below the line for solo. Team side, team cutoff was 2,779. So not that much higher than the individual, which was interesting. Like, times 3, obviously, because teams are 3. Yep. Yeah. That was a dumb comment until I clarified, but
we know what you meant rather than what you said, Chin.
Yeah, and that's all you need to do. Just read my mind. Come on, guys. Our lowest team was Team L15RH, which is Marky Behoy 89, L15RH, and Dan Brazendale, who had 2,906 true achievement difference, only 128 above the drop. Our high-flying team was Team Name Pending, which is High Road V2, Kushmoose, and Freemhole, who were in 18th with 8,458. The aforementioned Enigma Gamer 77 also got knocked out of team as well as solo, so his random team is out of there. He's done with the G-Task. He's like, nah, stuff your badge. I'm out. I didn't want it anyway, so I'm done. Game over.
You can't fire me.
Anyway, good luck to everyone left. Oh, I love that. It's not the first time I've heard that, but it's great every time. Oh, it works. Good luck to everyone still in the contest just for week 9, specifically in solo side, because this is crunch week. I can imagine that that cutoff's going to get pushed pretty high. I think I'm going to have to burn a lot of my Minecraft. In fact, at this point, because week 10 doesn't matter, I may play a bunch of stuff that has really high TA and will drop, like Human Fall Flat, the update. It's probably worth playing now. I think it's like 2,000 TA, so that'd be a massive difference. But anyway, good luck to everyone. Yeah. Carry me again. Party up.
We'll go over to the review. So you, Chin, you and Warren reviewed OVIVO. Is that how you say this game?
Well, it's great. It's my favourite kind of name because it's palindromic.
Ah, very nice.
Like race car.
Like Bob or Dad.
Yeah, a kayak.
Yes, Amanda Plan and Canal Panama.
That's the one I was trying to think of.
Yeah. All right, well, you guys are going to do the review now, so tell us what you guys think.
Hello and welcome to another review. I am Planting42, and with me as always, Mr. ChinDocta.
How's it going?
This week we have got something interesting for you. It is OVIVO? It is a new Sometimes You, it is an older, I guess I should say at this point, Sometimes You game, developed by Is Hard. The release date was, right? The release date, July 3rd, 2019, for $6.99 on the US marketplace. TA's got this pegged as a platformer. It is barely a platformer. There's no genre tag for it. I call this a gravity simulator.
Gravity guy without the auto running.
Yeah, literally. TA's got it pegged for 2 to 3 hours. I haven't finished it yet, so I'm going to say that's probably pretty close. I've put maybe an hour into it, collecting what I have. So I'm going to say that's probably spot on.
Yeah. The cleanup's pretty easy because it sort of tells you where you're missing collectibles and stuff like that. So
exactly.
After getting through the story, it's a relatively easy cleanup.
Here's where things kind of fall apart a little bit, though. We normally talk about the plot of a game. I don't know what's going on here. There's no introductory video. You are literally thrown into the landscape as a little ball. I guess I'm a little ball that's lost, and I want to go home.
Yeah. and you're discovering things along the way. That
Yes.
they're called story symbols, but I don't know what story they provide.
There's no story. There's no word. There's nothing to explain anything. So although they're technically story symbols, they're just collectibles.
Yeah, I guess it's just it's an introspective journey that everyone has their own story with this game.
Oh, this is one of those you make the story as you play games.
Yeah. Like my guy was a war veteran who he was a spy. So the only mechanic is that you change colors, and if you're white, you live in the black world. If you're black, you live in the white world. So he was a spy and he kept changing sides. No. It was
I love it. The achievements for OVIVO are everybody's favorite. Every one of them has to do with collectibles, other than the complete the game one. 90% of them are pretty obvious, but others are going to require a second attempt, like the cleanup that we were just talking about to get. Mm-hmm. And there's also some for completing the collectible collection, as well as completing all of your pack dots. I don't know what they really are, but there's dots you have to collect.
I think they called them Morse.
You're right.
Morse, which plays more into my spy plot.
Okay. So you're picking up your cipher key to get to the next zone. Okay.
This has worked out really well from off-the-cuff nonsense plot.
So the gameplay in this, like we've been saying, the object in this is to move your ball from one end of the puzzle to the other using literally only one mechanic other than just left and right movement. You change your color. The entire game is black and white. So you go from black to white and back as you hit the A button. White dots go upwards in black, and black dots fall into white space. So to maneuver, you kind of move left and right, and then you use this little odd mechanic, which kind of makes you almost bounce or flow through things, getting from area to area. The layout is a little confusing, but you can actually back out and kind of look at the overall picture if you want to have an idea as to where you're trying maybe to go, or where there might be some collectibles. I found that kind of helpful. But from personal experience, at least, you're going to end up making one playthrough and then cleaning up, because there's just some things that just aren't on the path that you've taken, or that you even think is a normal path to take. I don't know. Because there's some funky ways to go.
Yeah, kind of early on, there were some things that I didn't get because I was like, those look like they'd progress the story. So then I got other things, but then the other things progressed the story, and I was like, oh, maybe I should have gone back and collected those things first in reality. But yeah, it's not always clear necessarily what will progress you through the levels in a way.
Exactly. I also want to say I spent maybe 20 minutes trying to bounce into one of those those folded patterns, only to discover it didn't actually do anything. So just because there's something there doesn't actually mean it does anything, oddly enough.
Yeah.
So your mileage may vary
in the game. Sorry, what?
I was like, your mileage may vary with determining which objects it is you're supposed to interact with.
Yeah. It's again, everything's in black and white, so everything kind of looks like you should probably go there, even though you don't necessarily need to.
Yeah. You
can't climb in the game at all, so there's no upward movement in your realm, which is why you need to swap, because if there's a slope in black, you need to change to white so that you can roll up it, because the gravity changes direction. So it's wrapping your head around that at first can be a bit difficult, but once you've got it, you won't struggle with it anymore from that. You can die from falling out of the map, but you get reset to usually a pretty close checkpoint. There's also there's some spikes and other sort of hazards that are pretty obvious to spot, but they'll also hurt you and kill you. But other than that, there's not much. There's no penalty for failing.
Exactly. I mean, I've died over 100 times in one level trying to get to one of those things I thought I needed to, like the ink blot, but it No, I didn't.
Yeah.
You'll spend a lot of time kind of learning the mechanic of dropping down into a valley and then switching your coloring around. So now you're being pushed back the other direction so you can get some jump height. Because like Chin said, there's no climbing, no jumping. However, you can use gravity to push yourself up into other zones, which you're going to have to do and learn to be able to get through. It's a little odd at first, but it makes sense as you get into it.
Yeah, and the timing doesn't need to be precise. You can press the switching button early so that as soon as you would swap over, you'll just do it straight away. You don't have to sort of wait and go and now push it. So
exactly. That was a plus. Graphically, yeah. Graphically, this is just such a simple game. 2 colors, no UI, no frilly backgrounds, or really anything interesting to look at outside of the occasional like ink blot, which you may or may not actually have to interact with somehow.
Again, when everything's black and white, clarity is surprisingly not always there.
Unfortunately.
I mean, the levels are pretty well made. Like, they do a good job of forcing you to sort of experiment a bit and trying to get around, but there's not much to them.
No, exactly. So, I mean, like, OVIVO, for what it is, I found it interesting, but it's not something I would suggest spending the $7 on. You only have one mechanic. It gets old pretty quick. I would say grab it on sale for the easy and potentially somewhat frustrating Gamerscore as you learn how to use that gravity bounce. I mean, technically it's a platformer, but anyone that knows me knows I don't do platformers. This is not what I would consider a platformer, so don't let the genre tag scare you.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, it's either going to be platformer or just generic action like this.
Yeah.
There's no story for it to be an adventure. I think a better version of this game would be 2180 The Moon.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a much better version of what this is. You get more enjoyment out of it. I think it's probably quicker as well, but it's better in every way.
That, and there's actually a story. Not that I want to be knocking this terribly, but 2180 does have a story that it explains it. This, you're honestly pretty lost as to what's going on, unless it's literally just let's put together a cool puzzle game for guys to play. They did that.
Yeah. Yeah, so sale, I couldn't, even at $7, I couldn't recommend this at full price.
No. So, yeah, that's it. Not a bad game, but definitely worth taking your time and finding it at a reasonable price.
Yeah.
Okay, well, back to you guys.
All right, thanks Kirby and thanks Warren. It's good to hear Warren's voice again. Glad that he's still doing all right.
Alive.
That was OVIVO. All right. Talking about a game that Kirby just played. Kirby, why don't you tell me the other games you've been playing? Because we're going to talk about what we've been doing.
Man, that was smooth.
Like peanut butter that's not crunchy.
Crunchy's
also
the best
worst
flavor.
peanut butter, but it's, you know.
I don't like
going
extra
off on
crunchy.
tangents.
Crunchy's the best.
Crunchy is the best peanut butter. Actually, super crunchy is the best peanut butter. Then crunchy, and then there's no other peanut butters.
All right, you know what?
That's,
I'm gonna pack that one away, and we'll pistols at dawn. I think it's what it needs to be.
Oh, you don't tell me you're a smooth peanut butter. No.
I mean, to be fair, I don't eat.
All right, mate.
I don't eat all that much peanut butter, to be fair. But I mean, I grew up on smooth, so that's just I've just been conditioned.
So what you're saying is it's your parents' fault that you never had a chance. Okay.
I mean, look.
So this week I
not
played
gonna deny that.
at sundown shots in.
So shots in the dark sounds like it could be the name of this podcast.
It sounds like it could be many things. Oh boy.
Okay. I can't do this, boys. I can't keep doing this every week. I can't keep coming on the show and just... It's killing me inside. What is this nonsense?
Your face
Stop.
just hurts so much from laughing because you enjoy yourself.
Okay.
Now your face can hurt from talking about games so much. So there you go. It's your turn.
Okay, so this week I played a lot of At Sundown, Shots in the Dark. I played it mainly for random to-do list, but because I had an achievement on there to play a ranked match, which should be easy enough, and get 1,000 kills. Which so the game itself is like a top-down arena shooter kind of thing. So yeah, I just played against the second controller and just killed him repeatedly in deathmatch over and over and over again. And the problem is, so there's no achievement tracking, and there is in-game tracking, but it didn't seem to be working because it wasn't progressing. And that's when I realized all the kills and stuff. So you get experience offline, and you can do some of the miscellaneous things like finish the match with a triple kill and whatever. But all the kills and all the games won only count online.
Oh.
You can play, same thing. I played against the second controller online, did the exact same thing in like an unranked lobby, so I just invited my second. But the fact that that's the only way the tracker increased, it like did my head in. Like I'd wasted hours just killing myself over and over again, assuming it would work, and it didn't, and just did my head in. The other thing is, so my game share partner is North American. He launched the game on an alt and got up to level 6 so that he could play ranked with me. I think it's regional matchmaking for ranked.
Oh, wow, okay. What is this?
Because it was like
1995?
It was like 10 minutes of searching 1v1 ranked. We both never played it before. Couldn't find each other. Could invite each other to a game, but couldn't play ranked that way. So, just so I can get this off my tag, I might have to buy this for you, Neo. And
Yeah, it's
force
fine.
you to play it with me.
It's the kind of thing that... yeah, you know what? I probably owe you after all the stuff, so sure.
It's
Why not?
probably just a mindless grind thing. The annoying one is win 500 matches, but you just set them to like 1 kill death matches, and the loading screens then take longer than the matches themselves, kind of deal. So,
Right. What are the achievements like in general?
They don't look too bad from the list that I'm looking at.
Only ones I haven't... I mean, everything else is just sort of grindy. The only ones that might be an issue are the get gold medal in all the training missions. I haven't done any of the training missions, so I don't know how difficult they are. So I will assess that before I buy it for you. But like the ranked is play a ranked match, play 3 ranked matches in a row, win 10 ranked matches, and then everything else is just sort of grinding against the second controller in a private lobby, I guess.
Oh, yeah, so it's kind of like an arena shooter against each other, so it's multiplayer only, really?
Yeah, there is bots, and maybe playing offline and killing bots would have counted, but I didn't try that, but why would I when I can kill myself? Yeah. The mechanic, the thing that makes it unique is that you're only visible when you're in the light. So in dark areas you're not visible, but when you spawn, you're visible for a few seconds, and you can sort of press A to check on where you are, just in case you kind of get lost in the map from where you are. Because there are some lit up areas, but there's also ones that aren't. But yeah,
is this like black and white Bushido?
Kind of, but top down.
Interesting. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because
there's not
been a few
directly
games
top
with this
down
kind of mechanic where it's hiding in plain sight, or invisibility. Yeah, interesting. No, that actually sounds really cool.
And with friends against like at a party or something, good 10 minutes of fun until you just move back to Jackbox, because why would you ever move away from Jackbox? But I can see the appeal I can see why people would think, yeah, I would want to buy this because this might be fun. And then they play it and they go, oh, actually, yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't look fun from this clip that I'm looking at, but maybe this is one of the training missions.
But you have a couple drinks with your friends, and then everything becomes fun with yelling and stuff. But why would I do that?
It could be the 7th to complete it.
Yeah, I need to find someone I can play ranked against. It's ridiculous. Moving on from that, I also put I did a 4-hour run of Lost Sea this weekend to get my highest random to-do list achievement, which was to beat the game without recruiting any crew members. Got that done. It's a pretty reasonable roguelite sort of action-adventure game. Again, that kind of isometric view. You just attack enemies, get experience, and upgrade your character, and get gold and upgrade your ship, which then, just makes you better overall. What crew members do is they'll have abilities like they can unlock chests, which you can get items from, and they can build bridges, which allows you to access more areas. They also carry the tablets, so the tablets is what you use to progress between areas. So you'll get a tablet, take it back to your ship, because you're a pirate, I guess, and then the tablet will chart the next island you can go to. So them being able to carry it means you don't have to, otherwise you'd be carrying it and you can't attack while you're carrying it, so you have to drop it to attack enemies and stuff. So there is use. They can also give you experience buffs and attack buffs, but when you get to the end of each world, you have to fight a boss, and you have to fight the boss alone anyway, so that they don't help you there. So it wasn't that different to how I played before, and you could get as many upgrades as you want. There are achievements for beating the game without upgrading at all, where having a crew would be quite important up until those boss fights. But no, 4 hours and I unlocked, I think, the 13 ratio achievement for doing that, and like another 6 or 7 ratio for not using any items and finishing the game. And it's a 13 ratio 100 point achievement. So
wow, it's a big
good.
one.
1,300. Yeah, in the 4 hours, I got 2,000 true achievement points towards my roguelite leaderboard. So that helped cut down that deficit a little bit.
A quick question about that. Have you ever played a game, Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles?
I want to say yes because it's Final Fantasy. I'm going to quickly.
It was a game. It just what you're talking about kind of reminded me of it. It was a game on the GameCube where you had to plug in your GBA to play it. So you had to have one of those cables. So everyone had a GBA, would bring them along, and you'd play your individual characters. And one person basically had to carry like a chalice that cast an area of effect around you that kept you safe. That's exactly what I'm thinking of, just having some weird NPC just carrying all the stuff while you have to do all the fighting, otherwise you had to carry it yourself and drop it. So basically, if you're playing by yourself, you had an NPC do it. If you're playing with other people, one of your least favorite friend would probably be the one who had to carry and run around with it while the other people had fun and played the game.
Yeah, I'm watching some gameplay now. Yeah, I've definitely played this on my GameCube. 100%. Yeah, actually, and you know what? The view and everything kind of looks similar. The one annoying thing with your companions is that if an enemy is coming to attack or about to attack, they won't sort of follow you away. They'll cower. Eventually, you can buy an ability that stops them taking damage while they're cowering. The other dumb thing is that you get a sprint. I think it's almost your second ability probably that you buy. They won't sprint. So you'll sprint and be faster than them, and then have to stop and wait for them to catch up, because if you get too far away, they'll just stop.
Oh, that's helpful.
So it's almost like...
So they're like bots in Rocket League who don't use boost, but always collect it.
Yeah. It's really, like, aside from doing this solo run, I don't see a point in having the sprint, because you're like, you sprint, and then you just wait for 10 seconds for them to catch up. And sprint. Like, yeah, it always confused me. And maybe since I did that, they've improved it, and now the AI do move faster, but I just never saw a point in sprinting when you just have to stop and wait anyway.
Is it worth picking up? Because I'm not a big roguelike guy, but it sounds like quite interesting from what you said.
Look, it's not the most exciting game. You'll probably do one playthrough and be done with it if you like. But it's not ridiculously expensive. I think it's like $20, which is about par for a roguelite. It's just got massively blown out ratio, and I don't think it was games with gold. I don't know how.
It wasn't.
Like 800 people have played it. I don't know how that many people have played it.
Were they giving away codes or something? I don't know.
I don't recall.
Were they doing a Boss 101 for the Only Time Foundation?
Yeah. especially then, like the achievement for completing the game without recruiting crew members. Six people have got it now that I've done it. So people just started and fell off. Like, yeah.
Oh,
It's a bit of grinding, but...
I'll keep an eye out for it when it's on sale then.
Yeah. I mean, it's a 7,500 true achievements for your 1,000 gamer score. So, big ratio, but massively inflated. I finished up the base game of stacking this week. I had, again, random to-do list, so I was up to the final level-ish section, train. So I really enjoy stacking. I like the Double Fine stuff and the stuff they bring out, so it's a really fun little puzzle game. I've mentioned it on the podcast before. You stack into dolls and use their abilities to solve puzzles. It's quite enjoyable.
It's very charming.
It is. Final boss battle was weird. Doing rock, scissors, paper against the final guy. That, whatever. That it's kind of it's on par with what you'd expect a kind of final boss battle to be. Playing rock, scissors, paper in a big arena. But I've got the Lost Hobo King DLC to go, so I'll probably finish that after next week's cutoff, so that I don't, depending on how much time I have. But no, that's. I mean, what was it? 50 gamer score up DLC, I think. So whopping 250 gamer score from this title in the 6 hours or so I've played, 6 to 8 hours. But no, it's still pretty fun. And lastly, Age of Empires. I finished off the delisted version and launched the currently running or currently available version today, and got all those pops in one go. It was great. Just pop, 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 pop. All in one go. It's fantastic. Easy.
It's like playing Fallout 3
That's
PC,
exactly
right?
what I was going to say.
Even easier.
Without the typing.
Yeah. 1,250 gamer score. Just in one go. It's great. And luckily, I got that because that brought me up to 3,010 gamer score for the week. So yeah, pretty reasonably good. I mean, would have been quiet without this Age of Empires, so lucky I did it.
What about you, Neo? What have you been doing?
So a few bits and pieces. I finished up Portal Bridge Constructor, which I talked about last week. Again, that game it's 60 levels, which is 30 levels too long. It's really, really finicky on the physics. I got through all of the levels relatively simply because there's some good guides, but there was one or two that I had to really tweak a few times, just tiny little changes to my Rube Goldberg machine of just ridiculousness to try and get all the trucks through, because you have to get the bare minimum is you have to get one truck through, but there's an achievement for getting a convoy through for every level. So there was one level where I think it's level 53 where I could get one truck through it easy, but the minute I tried with the convoy, it does 12 trucks, and so as the trucks go through, they start wearing away or damaging or affecting the various things that you've built. And I'd always get to the last one, and he would just miss the last jump and just crash and burn, and I'd have to try and Frankenstein some sort of contraption together where it keeps it stable by having sort of all kinds of lattices and pipes and all kinds of stuff just to hold this one platform in place to make sure that everything goes smoothly. So I probably spent like another 2 or 3 hours on this one level just trying to perfect it at the end of the game. On the plus side, though, I had to get 5,000 portal transitions anyway, so that all added up to that. Game itself is really easy for the most part. Achievements aren't a big surprise. There's a couple of ones about going through portals 5,000 times, which you can grind on one of the later levels. There's one for bouncing on the same gel like 20 times, which is easy to do if you just make sure that your vehicle goes as slow as possible. And I think there's a couple for creating a continuum loop of just going through the same two portals over and over and over again 30 or 40 times, which is always fun to do. So
I think there's an achievement like that in actual Portal.
Yeah, absolutely. So you're hitting terminal velocity. It's the same sort of thing. I mean, it's on Game Pass, so it costs you nothing to do it. It takes maybe 10... You probably do it in 10 hours. I mean, if there's guides there, but most of the time is just looking at the picture and then just replicating the picture in your build and then just testing it to make sure it works. It's not terribly interesting, but it's got a 2.0 ratio, and it's a decent game, but it doesn't really have... There's no charm to it, really. Even the sort of Portal aesthetic doesn't add much. You have GLaDOS, saying some awful stuff to you in the beginning of some of the levels, but beyond that, it doesn't really go anywhere.
I was just about to ask about GLaDOS.
Yep, no, she's definitely in it.
And you mentioned it.
And there's a lot of references to Portal stuff, and every time you do 10 levels... Actually, the beginning of the game is pretty funny. You're interviewing to be their Aperture Science momentum tester, and so you have to answer a questionnaire, and it says, "Are you willing to, are you interested in momentum or whatever it is?" And if you hit no, essentially the guy at the desk hits a button and you fall into a pit of fire and die. Yeah. And then it just repeats it ad nauseum until you get the answers right. And one of them is, if life gives you lemons, what do you do with them? And if you know the answer, then you're good. But if you don't, you're in big trouble. So it starts on a real high note, but the game, it's like everything around the game is quite cool and interesting and funny. But the actual game itself is so dull that it just really takes away from it. But I mean, there's only so much that you can do with it with a game like that. I also did a bit of boosting for Kane and Lynch 1. One of my least favorite online grinds. So, nearly done with that.
Are you going for the leaderboards?
No.
Is that why?
Well, yeah, that's part of the reason I'm so unhappy with it, is because I started the damn thing. And we have the leaderboard blockers in there who just have 50 accounts that he's made sure that no one's ever going to get those achievements ever again.
Oh, what's his name? Oh, yeah. I know his name.
Yeah, me too. And he's got like Kane and Lynch. What is it? I think in his motto, or profile, it's like Kane and Lynch #1 in all regions or whatever. The man apparently doesn't sleep, so he can take a long walk off a short pier. Yeah, and the game itself is fine. We were just grinding the same map over and over again. I was very lucky actually that I needed the money achievement for getting 150 million. And each run gets you about just under 2 million. So it takes quite a while, and you usually have to do turns. But thankfully, the other people that I were with already had that achievement and just wanted to boost out the games played. So I was able to just grind out all those achievements. And so all I have left is to play 200 matches. And I'm probably maybe 70, 80 matches in. So I'll need to get a party together to finish that up. And then, I'll never say the game is complete because 0-point achievements do still count. Shadowless Edge. They do count.
Sounds like they count.
They definitely count. So the game will never be complete, but I will never play it again after that, so I can just snap the disc in half. Other thing that I've been
playing... What if you want to go back and get those leaderboard achievements?
Oh, in that case, I'll just buy the game again. If there's a miraculous reset of the leaderboards, I will go out and hunt down a copy of that game, or I'll buy it digitally. I'll do whatever. I will.
Before you go on to your next game, have either of you ever snapped a disc out of frustration, or therapeutically after you finished a game you hated?
I definitely, not after frustration, but just as a sense of just like I'm never going to have to do this ever again. I think it might have been. Oh, actually, it was another one with a leaderboard achievement. I think it was the original Naruto game.
Bonds of the Broke.
Yeah. So actually, there has. So there's a bunch of online achievements in there that you just can't get. Well. The DLC's unobtainable. So I got all that done, and actually it might have been Broken Bond. Actually, Broken Bond has a Hokage achievement in it for. So the leaderboard is essentially you have 2 fights, and then whoever wins, if you win 2 fights in a row, you go to fight in this tower, and then you basically need to keep winning in the tower over and over and over again. So you need like 3 or 4 people to boost it. And so whoever's at the top of that leaderboard, whoever has the most wins in the tower gets the Hokage rank. And then to get their Hokage rank, you need to beat whoever the lowest number is. So theoretically, if there was a really nice person, the first person who did it would get 1 win and then would never play the game again, so everyone just had to get 1. By the time I got to it, it was about 54 wins. And trying to organize this was an absolute nightmare, because it was... Think about like stacking pyramids on top of each other. Like, when you play... what is it? When you're on someone's shoulders, and then you're in a pool and you're trying to knock the person off the other person's shoulders. Think like that, but 3.
Oh yeah.
But think about that, but 3 people high, and people don't have mics, and trying to organize this sort of weird Jacob's Ladder-esque sort of thing to try and make sure that people are at the right rank to get into the right fight, to make sure that the person who wins keeps getting wins, or the person who's not getting wins stays high enough rank to keep getting fights against the original person. It was a whole mess. I can't believe I got the achievement. And then after I did that, I snapped the disc in half. I was like, cool, I'm done. I'm never going to play a Naruto game ever again. And then I played like 5 more of them. But at least that one's done forever. So yeah, I think that's the one scenario. It was partly frustration, but it was more just relief.
Okay. What about you, Chin?
No, I'm pretty much all digital. I don't have this to break.
Just go smash
And
it.
I can't... Oh, look. I've been holding the Guitar Hero Live disc for a while. Because I want to do something with it. But then I just never got around to it. And then I just forgot. But I'll probably...
I think I remember in an earlier episode you talking
I
about
said I was gonna
smashing the
they're just
Guitar
sitting
Hero
in my
Live
car.
guitar.
Yep, he definitely did.
They're sitting
Yeah.
in my car, just doing nothing from the move. So I'll probably do something. Maybe when the pool is finished, I'll chuck them in there.
You gotta smash them up like concert style, finishing a concert.
Yeah,
No, then I have to clean up the pieces that the dogs don't choke.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually.
Yeah,
don't
that's
do
the other thing, because the bands usually have someone to do that for them. I guess you don't get to see the aftermath.
Just put it up on Airtasker, $30. Clean up after I smash my Guitar Hero Live guitar.
$30. I'll give you like a $5.
so lunch and travel not included.
You have to get here once you've agreed. You can't back out. You won the Hokage achievement on the 10th of August 2015.
Yep.
At 1:02 my time. So
Yeah, do you see when I started that game?
No, I don't. Let me see.
It was one of those things that just came up like way later that I just was like, oh cool, never getting that done.
I don't.
It's a 0-point achievement, so it was years later that it just came up. It came up in a session because I was in the boosting list for whatever reason.
I will be able to see it. You started on the 23rd of June 2009.
Yeah, so it was a long time.
I have one other person on my list who's completed it.
Is it Kiska?
Apparently.
Kiska and Maggie have completed
So-
it. They're unhappy.
I mean, at least in this solution that was edited in March 2014, the threshold was 70. As of January 8th, 2014, the threshold is 75 wins.
Yeah, so I think I hit mine at about 55 or so it's gone up even since then.
Yeah. I'm trying to see if there is. No.
And it was a 0-point achievement, but it did count. So.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, 0 point. I think there's no, that's the only 0-pointer. Anyway, back to what you were doing.
Yeah.
So I just got finished just before the podcast. I got finished with the Adventures of Bertram Fiddle, episode 1. That was a surprisingly fun game.
It's on my list of games to play as well.
Yeah, nice, easy sort of. I mean, I did mess up the second run against the ghost, so I did have to do a quick playthrough again. So that took me about 20 minutes. But
Do you have to do both of them perfectly?
no, but I got the first one, and then I thought I got the second one, but apparently I didn't. And of course, as soon as you get to the end of it, it
auto-saves.
auto-saves, so you have to restart the whole game. Which is...
Is this one the one where you have to carry the books? Or is that Shenmue 2?
No, we'll get to that. So it was decent game. I mean, yeah, it's like 20 minutes or whatever, but I don't know, it's kind of cute, and I think it's like $5, right? So why not? Easy achievements. I needed the boost. So I just got that done, and so I've been playing Shenmue 1 is my sort of big game for the week. Man.
Oh, wait. Were you talking about Bertram Fiddle and I just came in with Shenmue?
Yeah, that's fine. Don't worry about it.
Oh, man. Yeah, my bad.
All good. So yeah, I'm playing Shenmue. I'm playing Shenmue 1. And
Oh, dear.
Not even the right Shenmue, Alex. For God's sake.
I've never played it, mate. Alright.
So yeah, Shenmue 1 is a very, very weird game. I don't really know what to talk about with it, to be honest, because essentially it's the first quote-unquote open-world game that was ever made with QuickTime events.
And
Is it
slow
weird
time
because
events,
of-
too.
Yeah.
Do you think it's weird because of the translation for it?
Part of it, yes.
Or is it weird on purpose?
No, I think part of it is it's very much a product of its time. So the controls are very wonky. It doesn't have tank controls, but it almost does. It doesn't have smooth movement around a joystick. So if you were to run in a direction and then try and turn, you'll just turn 90 degrees and start running in the other direction. You don't really have really good diagonal movement. So it's a bit weird. And the fighting system, occasionally you get into fights and it's a very stripped back version of Virtua Fighter. But it's also, I'm also really bad at fighting games. So it took me a while to get through some of the fights, and I've got a little bit left to do on it. I'm not looking forward to this big fight that's coming up where you've got to fight 70 guys in a row, but we'll see how that goes. But
oh boy, that's a lot of people.
Apparently they're really weak and they go down in 2 hits like an old kung fu movie, so I'm looking forward to that at least. But so much of the game, it's part mystery solving, who killed your father, track down the leads, but also it's hey, but also you need to get a job at the dock and work at least 5 days driving a forklift and delivering boxes. And you got to make sure you hit your quota for the day, but also sometimes while you're delivering the boxes, you get attacked by gangs and you have to get into a fight with them.
Did you ever find that sailor?
I did. I found many sailors. Yes, I found the sailor with a tattoo. Yeah. You had to go to the bar.
The bar.
Had to have a quick time event. It's so it's very like I said, it's very much of its time. It has so many elements in it. From the whole gacha thing where you waste a heap of money on useless toys that you can just add to your collection. You need to get 50 of them for an achievement. And he's always oh, hey, cool, look, here's a Sonic the Hedgehog toy. You're wow, Sega, you're getting really meta here. This is weird. And then you can play old arcade games, and then all the voice acting is the worst in the entire world, and everyone's very awkward, and their faces are just kind of weird because it's that weird early polygon. Better than the PlayStation, but not PlayStation 2, because the Dreamcast was kind of in that middle point. It's so ambitious. But you could tell it's very Japanese. I'm looking forward to finishing it. I think I only have maybe an hour left, and I kind of have to do this big fight at the end, and then the final fight at the end. There's a little bit of story moments that have to go on, and then I'll be done with it, and then I'll probably jump onto the second one. But it's a short game. There's a really good walkthrough.
And carry the books around.
Yep, exactly.
Yep, that's all about the books, mate. That's really the only thing I know about Shenmue. Is that you need to carry the books, and you cannot drop them unless you want to do it again.
Yeah, and they actually all the QuickTime events are very much like that. It's there's quite a few they're really unforgiving, and the first one start off okay, you do 3 or 4 actions, it's fine. Some of the later chase sequences, it's oh no, okay, you need to know 10 actions and you need to get them perfectly, and if you miss one of them, you go back to the beginning. And the timing on it is so tight.
You know what that reminds me of? That something you've played recently. The Darkness?
Yes.
The opening scene in the tunnel where you have to hit
all those guys with the shotgun.
All the guys with the shotgun.
I remember doing that when I played the original Darkness way back when I first, I think it might have been my 3rd or 4th game that I played really early on. And that one section I just did over and over. I finished the rest of the game. I just started the game, did it over and over and over. I just could not do it. And then I started Darkness Japan recently, as I talked about a couple weeks ago. And I nailed it first time. And I'm you know what? I still got it. Still got it. I'm not over the hill yet. It's not all downhill from here. I've got a couple more years left in me before I'm completely useless at video games. But you're right. I don't know. I like this shit.
It's tough.
It is tough. It is real tough. Good game though. But I'm gonna finish up.
Shenmue's weird in that the PlayStation version has a movie mode. So in the PlayStation version, you can just watch all the cutscenes and then the fight scenes happen as well, but they're already done.
Yeah.
So it's weird.
Yeah. It doesn't. The game doesn't really understand what it's supposed to be. It doesn't. Which kind of makes sense because it's the first kind of open world game, right? So you have a lot of options, a lot of choice. You have a timer. People have their own schedules. So if you wanted to follow one person, you could see their entire schedule of where they go for the day, what they do, what shops they go into, what they say at certain events. I mean, I'm mainlining it, so if you just follow the walkthrough, you can basically skip all of that and just be right where you need to be and not have to figure out any of the clues or watch anybody or anything like that. You just wait outside the door until it's 6 o'clock and you go inside and start a fight.
Yeah. Yeah. Or hit a pool shot perfectly.
Yeah, exactly.
That's oh, it's such a good clip.
It's great. Oh, it's so fantastic. And so, yeah, it's a pretty short game. There's a weird motorcycle sequence I just did I know why it was in there, but I just don't really understand why it was playable. Could have just been a cutscene. Nothing else like it in the game. They're just like, oh, hey, last hour of the game, here's a motorcycle sequence with a timer. Make sure you get there in time. I made it with 3 seconds left, and I was like, whew, I'm glad the game totally didn't prepare me for that in any way, shape, or form earlier in the game, and this is just a throwaway mechanic that they probably spent hours making.
Yeah. And
2
never
hours.
use again.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, never use it again. So, I mean, you know, it's worth playing. Again, it's on Game Pass. Give it a shot. It's got a 1.6 ratio. Achievements are really simple. Walkthroughs, like, down to the letter, almost perfect. So you can just smash through it. The most boring part is delivering boxes for 5 days in a row, trying to make sure all the story events trigger. But once you get through that, that's pretty much the end of the game. And so at the end of the game, I'm going to get on a ship and go to Hong Kong, and that's where the second game starts, which apparently is a bit better, but I've never actually played it. So I'm looking forward to that one too. So that'll probably be next on the list.
Yeah, I think I donated or didn't donate money to some buskers.
Right.
And that's about all I've done in that game. I either did or I didn't. I can't remember which.
If you're looking to bean dive it or anything like that, there are some really easy achievements to get like straight away that you can get probably in the first hour of the game. If you're looking for some
first minute, you can call 911.
Actually, yeah, which is the correct response. Yeah, if your father's just been killed by a crazy martial artist from China, probably call the police.
Yep, and then decide, no, actually, I don't want to. They don't need to be involved in this, or something like that.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, no, the police don't need to be involved in this, which is, you're like thinking, what? Your father was just murdered. Like, wasn't like, oh, it was an accident. Like, he was clearly murdered. It was a funeral and everything.
Also, really, really weird you called 911 in Japan.
Yeah, there's that too, actually, yeah.
Like, yeah, there's that little disconnect that you're in this really Japanese city that's actually in America, I guess, or...
There's just the last thing I want to say. There is, if you played this game and you're listening to the dialogue, there's some weirdly, I don't want to say racist, but maybe culturally sort of ignorant talk.
Super insensitive.
Yes, very insensitive kind of, about anyone who's not Japanese, basically. I mean, it's a Japanese game written by a Japanese person. Oh, yeah, there is some... It's a little problematic at times.
It's a period piece.
Sure, let's go with that. And the period
You just bombed Pearl Harbor.
Yeah.
Definitely that was when it was set. So
Yeah.
you can understand a little anger.
There's some racial tension, sure. So yeah, I'll play the second one and I'll report back on how that one is as well, because I need the points for this week for sure.
Yep.
And then just to finish up, I had a bit of another blast from the past. I was playing Driver San Francisco. Which...
Is San Francisco the one where you have to run through the list of skills in the time limit?
Well,
That sounds like Stuntman.
That was the original... I think you might be thinking of the original Driver. But there is that challenge in Driver San Francisco. You have to redo that challenge of doing like a 180 and a 360 and then doing the cones and all that stuff for one of the
Weaving.
achievements. Yeah, so I think that was the tutorial for one of the original 3 Driver games, which people got really salty about because it's really hard and you couldn't play the game until you did that. It was the first thing you had to learn how to
It's
do.
famously hard, that one, yeah.
Yeah, so they added as an achievement in this one. I've played this game ages ago when it first came out, and I did the original, I did the offline stuff for the most part. I think I still have some collectibles and a couple of challenges to do, but I didn't get around to doing any of the online because it was just way too grindy, and there were too many people playing it when I first had it for me to get into a boosting lobby And I think this was back in like 2013, so it was a long time ago. Actually, no, it would have been probably earlier than that. Probably going to be 2011. So I happened to jump on earlier this week, and I saw Yoda and Franck de Gronk, were playing it.
Such a good username.
It's a great name. For some reason or another, I still haven't figured out why. Maybe it was on their random to-do list or something, but they were just playing Driver San Francisco, and so I just hit them up and like, oh, hey, I didn't even realize you had this game. And they were like, oh, yeah, we have it. We're just doing some online boosting. I was like, oh, cool, I'll jump into that. So I managed to get almost all the achievements done. I think all I have left to do is to get to level 38 in the multiplayer, so I just have to grind out a few more online matches. That'll probably take me a few more hours. But I actually had quite a bit of fun playing through. I'm not much of a driving game guy, but I've forgotten how interesting Driver was with the whole mechanic of being able to zoom out of a car and zoom into someone else's car, or the online modes use that quite well. We have like cops and robbers, where the robbers have a car that they need to try and make deliveries in, and the cops can basically teleport into any car and make it a cop car and try and ram you off the road. Which is... It
sounds like Agent Smith from The Matrix.
That's basically kind of how it is, yeah. You basically just morph into cars, and there's also like an attack and defense mode, and there's one called Trailblazer where you have to chase a DeLorean with that has the trails coming behind it, and you have to try and stay behind it. There's actually,
that's cool.
It's quite creative, and there's a lot of fun to it. I mean, obviously, I'm just boosting it, so I'm just trying to get as many wins as possible. But even if I was playing it by myself and actually playing it for fun, it would be pretty good. And it's actually surprisingly well designed for an online stuff that I thought was going to be a bit more throwaway. But now that I'm going to be done with the online, I don't really have any excuse not to go back and finish up the old collectibles and challenges and to get that completion on my tag finally. But yeah, so other than that, that's pretty much all I've had this week. Luckily, I played Bertram Fiddle because I managed to get 2,430. Otherwise, that would be 1,000 less.
Yeah. Well, I haven't played a whole lot this week, but I did finish off The Infectious Madness of Dr. Decker. The story
was your
in
killer?
This game...
No, stuff that. Who was your killer?
Mine was Nathan, the guy that relives the day over and over again.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah. And in there, he's... at the end of the game, when you pick him, he's like, you said the same thing yesterday, Doctor. And it's like, for him, he keeps trying to go through the day where he somehow tricks me into thinking he's not the killer.
Yeah.
And obviously, I didn't fall for that. Also, Angel SK put out the guide for picking the correct killer.
Yes.
First time, Hintless Wonder, the achievement. So thank you for that guide, Angel, because it helped me get the achievement. I had no idea. I thought it was Mariana because she's walking all these fools into the ocean.
See, I think I got her twice, like in both my playthroughs.
Wow. Okay.
Which was weird.
Do you know what? It's really bizarre. Like, she plays this really, like, sexy siren type of character.
Yeah, she does.
Yeah, and she's like, why don't we go out, or why don't we go back to my place? And when you type something in there like
No.
the answer to a question, there's certain questions, and she's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I don't think I know you well enough for that yet, Doctor." And it's like, hang on a minute, like the whole time you're saying sexually suggestive things to me, and if I say one back, "Oh, I don't think we're ready for that yet," like, no. Anyway.
Now you know why it's an achievement for playing for 10 hours.
It's 8 hours, and I got it in halfway
took me
through
10.
the 4th act. Yeah, okay. But she's such a unique character as well. They all are pretty interesting. So they've all got their special powers. I won't talk about what they are too much, but it's such an interesting game. Yes, it is tedious to actually play. Especially if you're going to just use a controller. I mean, you'll be there for 20 hours. Don't do that. But the story is really, really interesting, and it's definitely well worth your time. I would definitely recommend playing this game. It took me about, I reckon, 9 hours to finish it.
One little tip for that is, because I did it all with a controller, is that the game triggers on keywords. So if you're looking at the walkthrough, try and look for the keywords in the phrase, and you can basically just put those in, and they'll respond to them.
Yeah,
I did that when I had my smart glass remotely connected. I had varying degrees of success with it. like if you're going to type Dr. Decker, you can just type Decker. You know, that is pretty obvious. But there are some things that, like it was a very long sentence, and clearly I'd just write the first half of the sentence, and it'd be like, I don't know what you're talking about. You know, it's anyway. It can be a bit disjointed, but it's definitely worth the time. The story is really interesting. It twists and turns, and yeah, for me, I didn't know who the killer was at the end of the game. I don't think I would have picked Nathan if I didn't read that. I did have trouble with it, though, because the only reason I played this was because I had a random to-do list achievement in it. Maybe two, I think. Maybe it was just one. I can't remember. But Hint was Wonder, I needed to get it. So picking the killer correctly the first time. And the solution underneath Angels was to go offline, pick them, check it's correct, load your checkpoint, and then do it again. So what I did was I went offline, picked it, it was correct, and went back online. So I didn't load it. And I was thinking, you know, when you're offline and it's when you go back online, it's supposed to sync with the servers and then give you the achievements anyway. I'm like, it's fine. It's an unnecessary step. It's not an unnecessary step. You need to go back and load it. Because I finished it, went back online, no achievements. And there was 4 of them that were due. And I'm like, oh no. So I was complaining in my team for random to-do list little chat that we have, going, oh, Decker's such a terrible game, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, I'm like, I reloaded that animation probably 6 or 7 times, left my Xbox turned on for 24 hours, no achievement, didn't sync, and I'm like, oh, right before I was about to hit the wall, I just started a new game, and they all popped as soon as I did that. So anyway, got them, got lucky.
How fortunate for you.
Yeah,
And
I didn't
your
want to
team.
play for another. Well, we're up by 1 point now, you said, didn't you?
No. Oh, you're up 1 point on the overall leaderboard. You can't beat us on points this round for this month. You can beat us on unlocks, but we're tied for unlocks, and you can't beat us in points. We've got more than your max.
Okay. Well, I'm not going to get the 1,000 and whatever points for Zombie finishing on the hardest difficulty. Anyway,
it doesn't matter. The unlocks at this point are the only things that matter for your team.
Well, they're the only thing that have always mattered. But anyway, Minecraft I played, like I was saying earlier, to avoid getting eliminated in the G task. So I just stopped in to do the 1,000 Emerald Trades achievement. I did that by joining... So I was playing the Xbox version. I joined up to my Minecraft Pocket Android version, where I had a world downloaded. And it spawns right in at that point. So you just go around trading all the chicken, rabbit, and steak, is it? Pork chops? I can't remember. So I did that. And I did some of the achievements from the Cat and Pandas update. So that was pretty easy. It only took me about an hour. And got them done. I just need the cat getting a reward from a cat in the morning. It's such an odd achievement. But anyway. I can't find the world that I had downloaded to get that achievement. Because there was a cat and panda world someone made. And I can't find it anymore. So if anyone knows where that is, let me know. And the last game that I want to talk about is Ukulele. So I've got 2 achievements for doing this. And I need to get through to World 5. To get both of them. So I need to find all the secret pirate treasures, which I think there's 1 in each world, and I have to defeat the World 5 boss. So I've just made it into World 2, and I've got a lot of the pages in there. Have you guys played Ukulele?
Yeah, I've played a fair amount of it. I've nearly finished it.
Okay.
Very briefly. Don't think I'm out of World 1, even close.
Oh, okay. Do you have to beat... so to challenge the World 5 boss, do I have to have beaten the first 4 bosses?
No, so...
Neo, think about your answer. Try and remember really hard about whether he has to spend more time to get this achievement than he maybe needs to.
Now, Eve, I will be honest, you don't have to. Theoretically.
I didn't think you had to.
Technically.
But I don't know enough about it yet.
But realistically, the way that it works is you have a certain amount of pages you can get in every level originally, so you need to spend a certain amount to open the book, and then you need to spend a certain amount to expand the book.
Mm-hmm.
So when you expand it, it unlocks new areas in that world.
Yeah.
So to fight the boss, you can't fight the boss until you've expanded it, because the boss is in the expanded part. So you need.
Oh, okay.
So you'll need to get to book 5, have enough pages to open book 5, and then enough pages to essentially expand it out so you can fight the boss.
So I guess, in theory, I could go and find World 5, expand it, maybe without even having played, say, World 4 or something.
Sure,
I don't
yeah.
know if
So
that's theoretically possible. But
yeah. So if you absolutely rinse like Worlds 1 and 2. And maybe parts of 3, you might be able to go straight to 5, open up 5, and expand it straight away, and go straight to the boss. But that's still going to take you a
Probably
fair amount of
safer
time.
just to play through it all, get as much as you can done in each world. That's probably the best strategy.
Well, I have to unlock all the worlds to go and get the pirate treasures anyway.
True.
Yeah.
And most of those will need expanding.
I just thought I would ask.
But I think the trick there is try and get through as much of the game as you can. Try and get ahead as much as possible. Grab as many quills as possible to try and get the fly ability from Trouser Snake.
Trouser Snake, by the way, might be one of the best names for a video game character ever.
It's pretty good.
It is so good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I was thinking about the game when I was playing it, because I thought I want to talk about this a little bit. It's compared to like the Banjo games, of which it's obviously based, I found it confusing by comparison. It's like Banjo games, they seem to be like smaller worlds, and everything was kind of tightly close together. These ones, they
well
feel
designed almost.
Yeah. Like this one isn't terrible, but I feel like there are just wasted spaces
It's very directionless.
in the game. Yeah, like you're walking
On
along
your
this
hard
whole
drive,
thing,
or-
and it's like, why am I spending 2 minutes or whatever minutes walking across this vast expanse where... Okay, I was concentrating on what I was saying, but that was actually a good joke, Chin. Like, you're walking 2 minutes across this wasted expanse. It's like, you could have put the thing I'm walking to in the place that I'm already at. It just seems...
Yeah.
Yeah, it just seems not quite as focused. But I think Prue... I remember Prue... I could be wrong about this, but I think Prue was saying that it's like a big open world with not enough to do in it to kind of populate the world.
Ubisoft didn't make it.
Well, you didn't have to climb any towers.
I see what he means. I see what he means, and I agree with him. Having said that, I am still enjoying the game. I really like the dynamic between Yuka and Laylee. It is very much Banjo and Kazooie. You know, I still actually don't know which one's Yuka and which one's Laylee.
Laylee's the bat.
Is Laylee the purple dragon?
The purple
Bat.
bat, yeah. And you...
Bat?
Yeah, she's
Bat,
a bat.
yeah.
Red-nosed bat.
Okay. Okay. Right. And what's Yuka, like a chameleon?
Yep.
Yeah. Well, at
Alright.
least you got that. That was
Yeah.
I said last night to Nicole that the green one was a dragon. And she's like, no, I think it's a chameleon. I'm like, actually, I think you're right.
Change its colour.
Is it what? And it was just like a smaller dragon on top of the dragon, or like?
I'm like, and the purple one's a dragon too. I don't know, mate. Like, it's obviously not very clear what they... I mean, okay, I probably should have got the purple bat.
To be fair,
one I probably should have got.
to be fair,
But
Spyro the Dragon has a little golden dragon behind him.
does he?
There's a dragonfly.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Anyway,
And Crash is a dragon coot with a sister who's also a dragon coot. Sometimes they ride a polar dragon or a striped dragon. So I understand your confusion. These animals are a bit... They all
Is
look the
Donkey
same.
Kong also a dragon?
No,
You mean
he's
Dragon
not even
Kong?
a donkey.
Oh, okay.
Diddy, on the other hand,
Oh, yeah. What about Dixie? She's a dragon.
she's a chick.
I don't know.
Oh, yeah,
I'm just,
Dixie's a
I'm
chick, yeah.
just thinking of game
They
characters.
make country music.
But I think I tend to agree with you around this sort of level design, especially because I think it's more reminiscent of Banjo-Tooie rather than Banjo-Kazooie. Like, Banjo-Kazooie was a much smaller, well-contained... Like, it felt like it was well-designed. It made sense. Where Banjo Tooie was a lot more sort of expansive and a bit more aimless. And then the next sort of thing that Rare did around collectathon games was that Donkey Kong Country.
Let's not mess up those words.
Easy. Don't want to get unpoppied. Which was even more expansive and aimless. And I really feel like that Yooka-Laylee is similar to those later games where it's a bit more just like, hey, let's just throw everything at it, and we'll put some secrets around here, and if you find them, you don't, whatever. But we're not really going to signpost stuff very well.
Well, I think the most interesting one was the best Banjo, Nuts and Bolts.
I've never heard of that game. I'm pretty sure
Banjo Kazooie Nuts and Bolts.
No, I'm pretty sure that never came out. No.
Oh,
that was just a tech demo.
Yeah,
you know that's really funny because I've someone I know who's like, yeah, no, Resident Evil was a great series. 1, 2, 3, 4. Weird that they skipped straight to 7, but whatever.
Yeah.
I like. He says it so deadpan, and it's just the best thing I've ever heard. Resident Evil 4 though is probably the best one.
Agreed.
Yeah. Well, I've only played 5, so
I also played that on my GameCube.
Never had a GameCube.
One of the many
Nintendo
ports.
64. That's where it was at.
So I never had a 64. I played the better Smash with the slightly less confusing controller.
No, Nintendo 64 was the best Smash.
It's okay. You're allowed to be wrong.
Anyway, okay. I'll remember that for the future in times I'm thinking about being wrong, because I'm not wrong here. Anyway, the last thing about Yooka-Laylee.
Objectively.
I don't know if I'm going to be able to... Shut up, you. I don't know if I'm going to be able to finish my random to-do list achievements anyway.
Okay, well, that's fine then.
Yeah. So I don't know.
How are you going to go with Survival Instinct? Not a chance?
That game is just a... No. You getting the 2 Yooka-Laylees will be probably the end of it.
Yeah, Alex
if I can
probably not getting the rest.
Playing through The Walking Dead Survival Instinct made me want to be at the end of it.
It just... I really want to like it, but it's just not good.
It's like 25% of a good game, and that's me being generous. But the problem is that
that's probably fair.
The other 75% is so rough.
Yeah, it needed a lot longer to be made into a coherent game. Anyway, I finished the week with 805 Gamerscore and 19 in my random to-do list, with a potential maximum of 22. I know from the maths that I just said, 21 would appear to be correct, but potentially 22. We'll see.
Good luck.
Yes, alright. What's happening with the sales this week? Let's go through them.
Oh, it's a biggie. It's a big pile. It's like they felt bad for not having so many last week. Gamerscore Games is filled up with lots of stuff. We have Battleship, which is 60% off, $5.99. Captain Cat, 30% off, $4.89. Child of Light, 70% off, $4.49. Day D Through Time, 60% off, $3.99. Degrees of Separation, 80% off, $3.99. Human Fall Flat, 50% off, $7.49. Which is that's a really good game, because I think it's, I want to say 8-player co-op now is probably, I know like on the PC it's like 24.
It's got 4K now as well.
Totally.
Yep, 4K. Achievements pop for everyone. So only one person needs to do something for the achievements to pop, which is great, because Neo is way better at falling headfirst than I was.
I'm the best at falling over. I'm gonna get on my business card.
Yeah. But no, it's really good game. Pipe Push Paradise, 50% off, $5.49. If you purchase that, I believe it's still broken in that you have to complete it in one sitting to unlock the achievements. I think it's either turning off the console while the game is running is what breaks it. So if you quit out of the game, I think it's okay. But so many people have the instant on, so you just hit the button and the console turns off, and that's what causes it to stuff up. I think that's the issue. So finish it in one sitting. I think it's like a 1.5 hour if you follow a walkthrough, which you should, because stuff that game. But no, yeah, it's definitely, it's easy, but it's iffy. Lots of South Park games on sale. Stick of Truth is 60% off, $11.99. The Fractured But Whole is $14.99, 75% off. And the bundle with both titles is 67% off, $26.39, which is like 50 cents cheaper. So save your 50 cents, kids, and get the bundle if you don't have it. Stranger Things 3, the game, 50% off, $9.99. We reviewed it last week. I look forward to jumping on that. Transference.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, it's going to be good. Transference, 70% off, $7.49. Don't think it's going to get much cheaper than that.
Yeah, it's massively over. It's way overpriced. I did it for my my 1.1 million, and it's I think I still paid like $10 for it. But at this price, I think it's probably about right.
Yeah. Unknown Fate, 30% off, $10.14. Ugh. Valiant Hearts, The Great War, 70% off, $4.49. And Where the Bees Make Honey is 40% off, $5.99. That is also a buy at your own risk game. It's a 2 playthrough required, and it's really...
I keep forgetting that.
I mean, it's easy. It's really easy, but it is not fun in any way, shape, or form.
No, definitely not. Matt, what do you reckon people should definitely buy?
So I had a look through the sale, and the only thing that really jumped out at me that I think is probably the best value for money is the Far Cry 5 Gold Edition plus Far Cry New Dawn Deluxe Edition bundle for 67% off, $42.89. So that comes with Far Cry 5, the expansion DLCs. So I think that there's a zombie one, there's a Vietnam
one. Mars.
There's a Mars one.
The Mars one is the best one, though. The Mars one is actually basically could have been its own like sort of Blood Dragon-esque game because it's hilarious.
The zombie one's the worst.
Yeah, I haven't played the zombie one
What?
yet. I did the
Zombies are worst.
I did this.
It's essentially little, like really short Left 4 Dead style missions, but the achievements are tied to getting a good score.
It's all score attack stuff, but apparently if you do it in co-op, the scores don't change, so you can basically cheese your way through it if you have 2 people.
Yep, except that the achievement itself is host only.
Yes, so you will need to do it twice, but...
You will need to do one of the missions, or something, I don't know.
Yeah, or just find somebody who doesn't care about achievements to help you out with it.
You can do all but the easiest one in co-op, and then just do the last one solo, and that'll pop it for you. But yeah, it's weird.
Shadow's going to bring that down for me next month when he comes down for PAX. He got it for $5 for me.
Great.
Oh, that's nice.
It also comes with those 3 DLC packs. The Vietnam one is sort of in between. It's decent. It's pretty short. Nothing too interesting about it. Avoid the Agent Orange and Napalm. And
Orange Asian. That's a bit racist. I'm allowed to say it's fine.
Oh, okay, right, cool. I'm just gonna move on. And then it also comes with a copy of Far Cry 3 Classic, so it's sort of a remastered version of Far Cry 3, which is my favorite one. And so that you get all of that in the Far Cry 5 the gold bundle, and then you also get Far Cry New Dawn, which apparently is relatively easy and a decent game. So I've been looking forward to playing that at some stage. So I would definitely recommend.
I think the Deluxe Edition comes with the upgraded saw gun that shoots saw blades. I think that's basically the best weapon in the game.
Great, sorted.
Because the saw blades ricochet once it's with the fully upgraded. So you shoot it once and you take out a whole camp of enemies. It's
perfect.
Sounds like a grav gun from Portal. Half-Life.
The super grav gun.
Because you would only pick up the saw blades when you were going through
Ravenholm.
Ravenholm,
Yep.
Yeah. We don't go to Ravenholm.
That Archvile. Gotcha.
No.
Jeez. We need to get you a copy of the orange box.
Yep.
I wouldn't play it. I played 5 minutes of Half-Life 2 Episode 2.
Mm-hmm.
Having not played Half-Life 1 or Half-Life Episode 2 Part 1. Whatever.
Well, yes. Episode 1?
Yeah, Half-Life 2 Episode 1. Yeah.
So you got about as much story closure as the rest of us did then.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for Episode 3.
Yep, aren't we all?
Not even Half-Life 3, just Episode 3 of
Well,
Half-Life 2. Like,
Well, that's the hilarious thing, right? Was that Valve started this whole episodic trend by saying, "Oh yeah, it took this many years to bring out Half-Life 2, and so instead of doing a Half-Life 3 in like 20 years, we're going to do like episodic content. So it'll be shorter, more tight experiences that'll come out sooner." And so they brought out Episode 1, and it was like 4 or 5 hours, and then Episode 2 was even longer. It was like 6 hours, and then nothing for like it's 2007, I think that came out. They're like, "Oh, yep, still working on it."
look, soon, TM.
Running on Valve time.
No, that's a very good bundle, and if I didn't already own those things, I would jump on at that price. I kind of am annoyed that I didn't get a deluxe edition of Far Cry New Dawn, but whatever.
Well, what are you recommending instead then?
Well, so this is a game I played on a free play weekend, and I got all the achievements in that weekend. Override Mech City Brawl. It's 80% off, $5.99. That's probably the price that it deserves to be. Maybe, $10 discounted to $6 is probably, but it's overpriced. But it's a pretty fun sort of mech fighter. So you're essentially all it is little boxing matches between your mech and another mech, and that's how the story progresses. There's a couple other enemies, but it's pretty much just killing other mechs. You can do Pacific Rim style, where you can have two people in, and one sort of controls the head, which will be, so it's the head and the arms, so they control where you look and punches and stuff. But someone else controls the legs, so they control where you walk and kicking and stuff. So it's really interesting. You can also just do that with two controllers and get that achievement out of the way. Easy peasy. But no, it seems like a reasonably fun party game. It's fairly inflated at the moment because of the free play weekend. So I think it's well over 2,000 TA for what's probably a 15-hour experience. Yeah, 3,200 TA. There's a little bit of grind at the end, but you can automate that if you have a Cronus. But for $6, that's super worth it, in my opinion.
Cool.
And Alex hates you and doesn't want you to get anything.
Well, I didn't see anything in there that I could confidently recommend, so I will abstain.
None of the 5,000 Assassin's Creed bundles?
Nope.
For the 20th time.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Matt, what are you thinking of buying?
So the only thing I could really find that I don't already own was... I know, God, I sound like such a... when I say that. No, but seriously, I'm trying to find things to spend my money on.
No,
So what's this Starlink?
So Starlink Battle for Atlas is something that I've been keeping an eye on for quite a while. So it is one of those. It's Ubisoft's Toys to Life game. So it's the one.
Oh yes,
it's the one where you put the ship on the end of your controller, and it adds. So if you put the ships on the weapon, the weapons on the ship, it essentially adds them to it in the game. So if you put the weapons on backwards, it shoots backwards and all that kind of stuff. Now, obviously, that whole model crashed and burned, and they basically lost all their money on that. But I'm working. So Starlink Battle for Atlas, if you buy it digitally, comes with the starter pack of whatever you would buy in store, rather than having to buy all the toys separately. However, so that's 75% off at $14.99. However, they do have the deluxe edition for 70% off for $23.99 that has all of the stuff in the sort of first wave of ships and everything. And I'm trying to figure out whether I need to buy the deluxe edition for that extra, because when you translate that to New Zealand dollars, you're looking at like $55, which is getting a little steep for a video game.
I think, if I remember correctly, Malified over at the Adult Gaming Podcast quite enjoys Starlink, so shout out to him. But it was Warren. I think Warren also likes Starlink. Was he talking about it when he was on here last time?
Yeah, he probably.
He loves Toys to Life. I know he collects them like I do pop vinyls.
Right. Yeah, so I'm going to sort of ask around and see if people reckon that I need all the extra characters, or whether I can just get through it with the base level stuff.
the base will cover. You'll be fine with the base. Apparently, I own it, by the way.
Oh, alright, cool.
Because I was like, oh, yeah, do I? That's something I'd be interested in. Oh, wait, yep, no, I can't buy it because I already own it. But, speaking of stuff I don't own, / didn't own until yesterday, I purchased Captain Cat. I purchased, now my brain goes, I purchased the bundle of Omen Sight and Stories of Path of Destinies. What else did I purchase? There was like 2 more things. And now, Skelly Celeste.
Oh, I was looking at
because I think that might be roguelite, so I think I have to get that regardless. And yeah, not by choice, by necessity. And one more now, I can't remember what it was. Oh well, that's unfortunate. Looks like I'll never know.
It'll show up in your list
looking
somewhere.
through this. I've definitely installed it, but I don't know what it was.
It'll just take you an hour to go through your
Purchase
installed
history.
games. Yeah.
That's fine.
I
People
can
were saying the
still purchase
podcast
history,
wasn't
but-
long enough, right?
Yeah. Now I can't find what I possibly could have. Weird. Whatever. So yeah, that's all the stuff I'm buying, because Alex obviously doesn't buy anything ever anymore.
Well, I do, and the only game I'm thinking I might buy is Captain Cat, so
Yeah.
looks a bit interesting, but no, I'm not sure. You know me, I'm not like you two. I buy the games and then I have to finish them.
Hey,
Yeah, so do I.
The other compulsion for me of leaving the random to-do list competition is so that I can just start and finish some of these games. Like I've got
Mate, I got to
5
finish them
Ratalaika
too.
games on there.
Just
Yeah,
because
but
I
you've
haven't
got
doesn't
you've
mean
both got
I
like
don't have
1,000
to.
games. You know,
Look,
I've got
my backlog's only
60.
250 games large, alright?
I'm only like 1,200 games behind, Alex.
Yep. Well, I've got about 60 games installed, and I am gonna smash them out next month.
Mate,
So
I'm pushing 44%.
completion.
Yeah.
I've dropped under 90%, mate.
Yeah,
This
for
random
10%,
to-do list
yeah.
competition, and I have a goal by the end of the year to hit 95%.
Oh boy.
All right.
Actually, I'm gonna have a quick look at how many achievements that is while you
Okay.
go through the new games.
New games. Boy, the end of August is massive for games. We have Headspun, which is a new FMV game from, or kind of FMV game from Wells Interactive. Essentially, you are
Oh yes.
a person who got into an accident, and you are now controlling the people inside his brain to try and help him recover. So the FMV is kind of like, you know, those, what's that? Blue guy and...
I was going to say, is this basically
Osmosis
Osmosis Jones?
Yeah, it's essentially that. So you're seeing through his eyes the FMV screen of like a nurse trying to take care of him and stuff, and you're these cartoon characters in his brain making decisions.
I'm assuming they couldn't
That
afford to
looks
get
really
Bill Murray to
interesting.
play the person, though.
Yeah, I don't think you ever see yourself, is the thing.
So
Yeah.
it could be. So I'll just pretend it's Bill Murray.
So I think you're stuck in a hospital bed. I don't think you move, you just make decisions.
Those Wales Interactive FMV games are
They're
really
solid,
good.
yeah.
Like, was Late Shift was another
Yes.
one of them?
Yeah.
So you got Decker, you got
Late
Late
Shift,
Shift. Was
Shape
Bunker
Shifting
one of them, or
Detective,
was that just another?
I think Bunker may have been.
Yeah, Bunker was.
But it's
Yeah.
a very different style.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Bunker's really good. The Shape-Shifting Detective, apparently Mariana from Decker is
Yes.
in that game.
Yes,
Yep.
she is.
So,
Yep.
Yeah.
Also out Wednesday today, I should have said. Hookbots, Whipsy and the Lost Atlas, which is a Blowfish Studios, so that's Australian publishers.
Yeah.
So it's probably an Australian game. Looks kind of like Kirby, except different. Vanbrace, Cold Soul, Kamiko, which I bought because it was like $4. So I was like, yes, I'm in. I don't know what it is or whether it doesn't have achievements yet, so maybe I shouldn't have, but... on Thursday, we have the Just Cause 4 DLC, Danger Rising, Agent A, A Puzzle in Disguise, which we played at PAX, Alex, didn't we?
which
If you
one?
saw-
Agent A,
Agent
a Puzzle
A.
in Disguise.
If you look it up on True Achievements, I bet if you see that screen, the picture art, you'll be like, yes, we did. Lord of the Rings Adventure Card Game is coming out straight into Game Pass. It's Hearthstone, but Lord of the Rings.
I think the achievements just came out for that as well today.
Yeah, I don't think it's a good list. Not because it's like grindy or whatever. I just don't think it's. I've been told it's just not a very good list. Also weird achievement values, but it doesn't bother me.
That picture does look very familiar.
Yeah, we
For
definitely.
Agent A.
I definitely
maybe
played
we did play it.
Friday, Decay of Logos, Newt 1, Blair Witch straight into Game Pass, and the Dark Pictures anthology, Man of Medan. Man, I'm excited for that one because that's essentially what's that? Until Dawn, but different. So it's a
really
that's yeah. So it's got Sean Ashmore again.
Yep.
Just like Quantum Break did, and it's that kind of, and the trophy list just dropped onto True Trophies. No one survives, everyone survives. Find all secrets, find all like future frames. So I think it's picture frames you look into and see the future, unlike the totems. So it looks very basically that, but in a different story.
Oh, fantastic!
So I'm really excited for that. Tuesday we have the big announcement: Final Fantasy VIII Remastered comes out. That was way sooner than I expected. Like, was there a release date announced when it was said? Probably. Just feels like it's been really quick since E3 to come out.
Yeah, that is actually.
Couple months. Like, I feel like it wasn't. Maybe it was end of the year further that. But still, that's pretty good. List is way easier than the Steam list, so be glad for that. There's no, I think, beating the game with Squall's initial level and stuff like that.
Oh, God.
So, Steam list would be awful.
Get
And Torchlight 2. Yeah. Torchlight 2 as well comes out on Tuesday.
Which we talked about a few weeks ago, actually. We were talking about how it wasn't on the Xbox.
Yeah. I don't know. Something.
Seems like a bit
Maybe
weird
maybe
time.
it was subliminal,
Yeah.
subconscious knowing stuff. Now we have our milestones, though. I'll start us off. I will start us off with Maddie L22L, who is now in the top 1,000 of the True Achievement leaderboard for Xbox One Simulation Racing. Eliphalet77 is in the top 100 of both the Gamerscore and True Achievement leaderboards for Metroidvania. Fourth. That's fourth. Fourth has reached new milestone of 3,000 achievements won, and Hawkeye Barry 20 has reached a new milestone of 7,000 achievements won.
Hawkeye Barry 20 just joined the Discord as well, so that was pretty cool.
It's good luck from the True Achievements Pro Discord. Somewhat. NBA Kirkland recommended our podcast alongside AH101 team, and he joined up. It's good for him.
Fantastic.
I've thought about joining that TA Pro Discord. Is it worth joining? Are you in it?
I'm in it because I'm staff, yeah. And probably because I'm pro as well, but I'm in because I'm staff. I have to. It's basically just another staff chat, really.
Actually, was just looking at it the other day. I haven't actually joined it, so I probably should.
Yep, if you are a pro member and you have not joined the Discord, send a message to Coding on True Achievements, KODING, and he'll hook you up with the link. I have a link, but it's a staff link, so I can't share it, unfortunately. Just because it doesn't have a time limit, and there's other things that it allows, I think. So, sorry.
Alright, you can send it to us after the show. Alright.
Yeah.
So, Clowntastics reached 14,000 achievements won. Kingsman 2625, my teammate in the RTDL competition that we're in, 15,000 achievements won. Big L on a different team, boo, 17,000 achievements won. Hack and Pone? I've never really known how to say that.
Hack and Pone.
No, you don't say the P. It's supposed to, whatever, it's fine. Not going to get into early 2000s.
Well, they've completed 100 games. So that's good. And XLEX Jester, 200,000 True Achievement score. XLEX. And you got the last ones there, Neo.
So we've got Big L, who's reached a milestone of 800,000 True Achievement score. Secular Forever, with a double. They've got a 1.6 million GA score and 1,100 completed games. Enigma Gamer 77 has reached 400,000 gamer score, and Tatey has reached 500,000 gamer score.
Yes, lots of nice milestones this week. I did have a look at my completion percentage goal while we were doing that. 693 achievements left with 126 days to go. That's an average of 5.5 per day.
Oh,
and
that's
that's in
your B
games
drive.
No, that's for my completion
goal.
percentage of 95%
Oh.
before the end of the year.
Yeah.
So it started
no,
a hell of a
I don't
lot
think
less
so.
than that because I was at 93%. Well, I don't know. We'll see.
Oh, that's tough. I don't know that you'll
That's a
make it
lot.
by the end of the year.
Yeah, no, I don't know. 700 by the end of the year, but
Worth a shot.
a lot of those achievements are in easy games.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot to do before the end of the year. Okay, well, there we go. That's the end of the milestones, and that's the end of the show. So we'll put out all the social media information. So Cameron is the new social media manager. We did that a week or two ago and forgot to tell everyone. So we're going to see Cameron, also known as the Shadowless Edge, or the No Shade Bush, or what are some of the other ones you
Sunlit Curve.
Yeah,
said? Something.
anti-gloom perimeter.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one, the anti-glue perimeter. Well, yes, so Cameron will be on the social media. You'll see him on the Twitter a lot more, and we're going to get him to hopefully try and organise some community play dates, I guess you call them. I don't know, that sounds kind of childish, but some time we'll get together and play some games. But if you'd like to
Not
send
just
us
Rocket
an
League. Other games too.
That's
Yeah,
Mostly,
maybe some other
but-
games. Rocket League to start, and then Rocket League to finish, and Rocket League to continue, and if we get bored of Rocket League, we can always play Chaos Mode in Rocket League. Alright, so you can send us an
Rumble.
email at hello@realgamerscore.com, and you can tell us how much you like Rocket League. Or you can send us a tweet on Twitter at realgamerscore. Did I say the email was hello@realgamerscore.com?
I don't know.
If I mentioned that. Yeah. Once again, to join the Discord, you can find the invite at
Thinks I listen.
discord.io/realgamerscore, and the Patreon page is at patreon.com/realgamerscore. You can write in questions to the show, to any of those socials above, and we'll answer it in the next episode. And you can get in touch with me if you're interested in being a guest. You can help the show out. We'd really appreciate it if you could. You could subscribe on the platforms that you listen to. You can leave us a review, which we'll read out on the show. Tell your friends about us. Retweet us on Twitter. Retweet Cameron on Twitter. On our Twitter. Anyway, subscribe to us on YouTube and Patreon if you desire. Now, Neo, if someone wanted to get in touch with you personally, how would they do so?
as always, don't talk to me. I don't accept friend requests. I don't like being social. Just leave me alone.
The more time
major
you're talking to
consonant.
people, the less time you're playing games.
Exactly,
Right?
right? And yeah, all the time. I'm
That's
already
clever.
wasting all kinds of time being on this show. So,
Exactly what Circular Forever came. He came into the Discord, says, "I don't know if I'll be talking here much. Usually when I'm not doing things, I'm going to play games." I was like, "Okay, buddy, that's all right.
great. Well,
That's fine."
some of my best friends I just don't talk to anymore. It's great. We're super close.
Wait, so that means we're not.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
No, absolutely not.
That's okay.
Do you come to Melbourne to visit them, though?
Oh, no, I don't, to be fair. No.
Yeah. Okay.
That's a
All
little
right.
different. But now that's work,
All right.
so... So if you want to get in touch with me, hit me up on the Discord at Neomaster. Otherwise, I'm Neomaster on True Achievements, and that's my gamer tag as well. Seriously, though, it is cool to hear from people. I'm always down to boost achievements and things, so just shoot me a message, and also feedback for the show, and also telling me how great my singing voice is. But not this episode, because this episode's a shocker.
And Kirby, what about you? If someone wanted to say, "Oh, hey, I really like your voice." Not your singing voice, just your regular voice.
Well, I guess you'd have to find me on one of many platforms. Like, for example, you could probably get me on that one trophy hunting website,
Oh, yep.
Yeah.
PSN Network. No. TrueAchievements.com, Xbox Live, Discord, Mixer, Twitter. All of these are under the handle of ChinDocta. ChinDocta.
and no spaces. And no ones on the end. Who would do that? You can find me on Xbox, on True Achievements, on Twitter and Mixer, ProfessorPluto, and you can find me on Twitch, ProfessorPluto1. Okay, alright, then that's the end of the show, episode 56 done and dusted. If you've taken the time to get to this part of the show, thank you for listening to the entire show. We really appreciate your listenership. I'm not even sure that's a word, but thank you for that anyway. See you next episode.
Peace out.
Bye, Chin. Bye, Chin.
Bye.